Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Now today, I have another episode for you guys. I have something else that I haven't revealed yet to you that I wound up purchasing today, actually. Now, the thing about me is I get sidetracked very easy, especially if I see something that's like really cool or I've been waiting on for a while. This is one of those things where I've been waiting a couple of weeks to get ever since I've seen it. But nonetheless, I would like to introduce to you guys this is technically my third big pop. But this is my first that came with an actual little pop too, which is actually pretty cool. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Let's see if we can, that's as far as back as we can go. All right, yeah, see? Another super huge 10-inch popper, guys. We got Galactus that comes with a Silver Surfer this time. So this is the 10-inch, hold on, too big, can't spin them. This is the 10-inch Galactus Pop. And it's just like the Green Goblin. It's really big. Excuse me, let you know all the other pops that you can get. So Mr. Fantastic, Invisible Girl, Mole Man, Super Skrull. You could probably get Silver Surfer that itself, you know, as far as like an actual pop. But this is, oops, this thing is huge. This is Galactus with the Silver Surfer. Now for anybody who doesn't know about Galactus, and you know why I may say Fantastic Four at the top. When the Fantastic Four came out, well, what was it, 1943, I think, was the Human Torch. That was the very first comic that Timely Comics had produced, and that gave birth to, of course, the Fantastic Four. And during that time, the Fantastic Four being, you know, the exploratory family of scientists that happen to get superpowers from, you know, exploring too far out into space and getting exposed to a cosmic storm. And from there, they've met all sorts of, you know, villains and villainesses out inside of space. Now, Galactus, I would say, is one of the biggest villains that they have met. Galactus has a little bit of a history with the Fantastic Four. He's also has a major history as far as the Marvel Universe, not only just being very important to the multiverse of the seventh Cosmos iteration, because there's been 6 other universes before this one, supposedly, but well, I mean this one as far as Earth 616, but Galactus was one of the first like major villains from Timely Comics, and you know, which would later be Marvel. So Galactus is pretty important, to say the least. But I'm gonna go ahead and get this unboxed for you guys. I'm gonna set him up. I'm gonna put the Silver Surfer on the stand or on his hand for you, and from there I'll tell you guys a little bit more about Galactus. We'll get a little bit more of a sneak peek at how he looks. I'm seeing a couple things already from inside the box, but of course, yeah, we'll get a more in-depth view when we take them out. So just bear with me, guys. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is Galactus out of the box. Now, again, for those of you who don't know, we run down a little history on Galactus. Galactus is known as the World Eater. He is a primal being or a primal force of energy that is ever hungry. So that's his whole reason for kind of being a bad guy, is that he's just got this hunger that's just insatiable, man. Can't, you know what I mean? 1,000 sandwiches can't solve this thing, you know what I mean? But as you can see, he has one of his heralds which are one of the, you could think of that as like a henchman, paid, not paid, but somebody that works for him. But one of the most famous heralds from Galactus is the Silver Surfer. So to get into the whole heralding business and Galactus eating worlds and everything, you got to know about who he is, at his core. So Galactus had, started off as just like this giant primal, force of, bad that was just really hungry. So, after a while, people were like, all right, well, what's the backstory? So the backstory to Galactus is he was a being he was a being born into one of the most advanced civilizations known to that period in time during that cosmic era, if you will. But he was born at the very tail end of that cosmic era. So that era was dying. It was literally coming to an end, right? So with his people being the most advanced people there were in that era, he, being a traveler, was tasked with finding a way to, avoid dying in the end of the world, per se, or the end of the universe, as they knew it. And so Galan's big idea, after thinking long and hard and eventually just failing at the task, was to just go out in blades of glory. Just screw it. Let's just all just drive into the sun. Just die that way. Now, the thing is, although he happened to not always think things through as seems like a mortal being, it worked out in his favor. Because it worked out in most of their favors, actually, because most of them survived, if not all of them. And especially for Galan himself, he was approached by the essence of the sixth cosmos. That's right. So, like I said, we're in the seventh cosmos now, which is Earth 616, which is where you have the majority of our heroes based off of: the Hulk, Iron Man, Captain America, Wolverine, Captain Marvel, Venom, Spider-Man, Jessica Jones. All of them are based off of Earth 616, which is currently in the seventh cosmos right now. The sixth cosmos, the essence of the sixth cosmos, approached Galan when they finally had transitioned into that nether realm between like life and death, the end of the universe. And they got to talking. So Galan and the essence of the sixth cosmos got to talking, and somehow or another they came up with a good idea for Galan to continue his existence in what would be known as Galactus. So Galan and the sixth cosmos worked together to create Galactus. Now Galactus's body is ever changing, which is something I didn't know. So as you can see, naturally, what does Galactus look like to you guys? Looks like a big-headed dude, honestly, in purple armor with, I would say horns coming out the side of his head. It looks like he's a cousin to Hela, to be 100% honest with you. But, hey, there's that. But the cool thing is that Galactus is like on like a god tier level almost. And his shape and form changes based on the species or the aliens or the beings that he comes into contact with. So the reason why Galactus looks like this is because this is our human way of attributing his appearance, because he's so unfathomable. Goodness, he's so huge and big and like outright godly that we can't picture and focus in on what his true form is. You know what I mean? So, this is how we perceive Galactus to look like. So that's why he looks like a big mean dude who's always hungry in a purple armor. But to, an alien that has tentacles, it may just look like a giant octopus. Or to a species of rock monsters, it may look like a giant, a pile of goo. Who knows? But to say all that, Galactus spent some time in his early life incubating, getting to this final form, and then he eventually made contact with a couple of different people, from a watcher named, I think it was Essie, that was toiling back and forth between wanting to kill Galactus in its early forms, but another watcher intervened and stopped Essie from doing so because that watcher was looking at the thread of time, and warned Essie that although Galactus is the major of major a-holes and the most hungriest of all a-holes, he still is in fact very important to the multiverse. Why? Don't know. But this world eater, this bad son of a gun right here, is very important. So Essie decided to just let Galactus be and continue the incubation. He met with Ego after landing on Ego and draining Ego's life force, Ego the Living Planet. Now, if you guys have watched Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Ego the Living Planet inside of the MCU is now Star-Lord's father. Inside of the comics, however, I would say before the MCU, Ego was a celestial in of himself. He was a giant living planet, literally a planet with a face. And so Galactus landed on Ego and drained Ego's life force, until he was removed from Ego by another one of his, I think, one of his first heralds. But from there, Galactus wound up, just finally coming into his true form after visiting a whole other place called Apamnesia or something like that. But after almost pretty much killing Apamnesia, coming into his hunger and who he really is, he went on the search for different planets, different power-rich planets, and he came into the planet of Zenla. Now, the planet of Zenla had a humanoid-based group of species of people, and they were very advanced nonetheless. But to say that, of course, Galactus was like, "Hey, midnight snack. Why not stop off?" You know what I mean? So this gentleman right here, Norrin Rad, decided to confront Galactus and say, "Hey, please spare my planet, as we have, a little bit of knowledge, and we, can see based off of just probably who you are, you're gonna probably kill us all. So how about this? How about I work for you? I'll find uninhabitable planets that are very power rich that you can just munch on to your heart's desire. You know what I mean? Just spare my people, spare my planet, okay? How about that?" So Galactus was like, "All right, cool, deal. You know what I mean? No problem." So Norrin Rad worked for Galactus at that point, and Galactus imbued Norrin Rad with the power cosmic. So another little fact, if you don't know, Galactus, although he is I would say god tier being, some people may argue with me. Please, if you do have any, arguments, please leave them in the comments. At the exact same time, I'm not 100% sure what else you would really call Galactus besides maybe like a celestial, but celestials are pretty strong themselves. But at the end of the day, Norrin Rad decided to go ahead and become his herald and was imbued with the power cosmic, which transformed him, as you can see, into the Silver Surfer. And I think this was one of the main reasons why I actually bought this. I saw this itself, and this was just like literally adorable. It's a baby Silver Surfer that comes with a giant Galactus. Funny enough, they're both pops. You know what I mean? They both follow the aesthetic, but like this is adorable. You know what I mean? Now, I will also say this, coming right out of the box, my Galactus and Silver Surfer combo, don't know if anybody else has had this issue, my combo would not stay. Now, if you put Silver Surfer directly on his hand, like how it has on the box, it does not stay. You have to put them on in a weird way in order for them to stay. And I also had to turn his head too. As you can see, Galactus is not looking. See now, Silver Surfer decides he wants to fly. But as you can see, Galactus isn't necessarily looking in the direction of, fully in the direction of his body, I'll say. His head is a little bit off center. But nonetheless, that gave me a little bit better angle to put the Silver Surfer on his hand. But, ladies and gentlemen, that's a little bit of information on both of them as far as the Silver Surfer and, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even finish my story. Goodness, God, you see how sidetracked I get? So, Nora and Rad found uninhabitable planets, right? So then they kept having a conversation about Earth. Nora and Rad, of course, the Silver Surfer was like, nope, that is a habited planet. Our deal was uninhabited. Galactus keeps arguing back, well, you know, it's pretty powerful, you know what I mean? This would keep me full for a very long time, you know, isn't that your whole job to like keep me full, man? You know, so how about we work out a deal? So then the Silver Surfer finally decided this is my time to rebel and went to Earth to warn Reed Richards of the Fantastic Four. Intro, or what is it? Cue the Fantastic Four. There we go. So, cue the Fantastic Four. They decided to fight back against Galactus with the Ultimate Nullifier, which is a weapon that can wipe out entire universes, including Galactus himself. So Galactus, you know, of course, hearing that threat and probably knowing the power of that weapon, knew, like, hey, this really isn't anything to play with. So he decided that in a deal, in a bargain, if you will, cue Doctor Strange, I will let your planet be for the Ultimate Nullifier. So you give me the Ultimate Nullifier, and then you won't ever see me again. So that deal was struck in. The Ultimate Nullifier was given, from what I can understand. And then from there, Galactus was forced to vow to spare the Earth so that he could never eat it. But, of course, all of that didn't happen without the help of the Silver Surfer. So, Silver Surfer, although being a herald to Galactus, wound up being a good guy in the end. But at the exact same time, Galactus himself is a pretty bad mamma jamma. Now, that was an entire history lesson for anybody who may not have known about Galactus themselves. But to get into the nitty-gritty of things now, because, you know, that's why you clicked on the video to look at the collectibles, or the collectible itself. Well, should I say collectibles? Yeah, because it's kind of like 2 in 1, right? Kind of 2 for 1 deal. So let's go ahead and get an up-close personal view of everything, guys. So just right off the bat, there's some things that I noticed. You probably may not have seen them as I'm turning it around, but if you look, now some of this is also dust. If you look, the very top, right? Top corner, a little white mark. So Galactus had some of his purple paint taken off. Kind of bummed about that one a little bit. But I mean, hey, I've seen worse. I definitely have seen worse. I mean, it doesn't help if I do that, you know what I mean? So can't complain too much if things don't look right. I'm gonna put him over there in the corner so he can stay. But also, if you guys can look, I'll just probably zoom in on this so I don't have to touch it as much. You guys look up there, yeah, let's take a look. Boom. So I have no idea what that is. It looks like it's a paint blemish. So excuse me, so sorry. So however this, you know, pop figure was painted, it looks like there was a small blemish as far as getting that done. But to go ahead and take a look back. There we go. Everything else looks solid. Everything else looks really good. I can honestly say. I like his pose. Although I feel like his arm should have been a little bit more outstretched so that it's not as close to his head. As you can see, that doesn't look like a lot of space for the Silver Surfer. And if so, the Silver Surfer literally sits on his chin. You know what I mean? So it's like, don't know about that one. But like I said, other than that, Galactus himself, it boss, man. This thing looks boss. I love it. Oh, there's that in the back. Now this might be dirt. Yeah, this is dirt. Okay. All right, that's dirt. What is that? It's not dirt. So that's something else. Let's take a look at that, guys. So you see that? Looks like a little silver mark. Don't know where that's from. And I can assure you guys, I take these things out of the box pretty careful. Although I say, yeah, I'm about to rip this open, I'll be right back. I am very careful about how I take these things out. So I really don't rip open the boxes. I actually keep most of the boxes of these pops. So like when I move and stuff like that, nothing gets destroyed. Like how my first collection actually happened. I'm still bummed about it. Guys, I had like 7 or 8 different pops and a Q-Fig that I could have done reviews and showcases on and everything like that all got destroyed in my move. I'm so upset. Needless to say, again, sidetracked. Just looking at his bottom, looking at the bottom part of the armor. Again, a lot of nice detail. Oops. A little stiff. Like I said again, very beautiful. Very beautiful. I would say this is probably the most, this is the comic book accurate Galactus. You know what I mean? The Earth 616 Galactus. Just how he looks, you know what I mean? I would say spot on. I don't know about the exact color of Galactus, but this is pretty good. I'm not gonna leave out the little one. We're gonna move Galactus off the spotlight for a second. And we'll get in real close. Get real close here, folks. Yeah, I'm not gonna leave out the Silver Surfer. Come on, it's 2 for 1. It's a 2 for 1. See, this is adorable. How could you not get this? How could you not? It's a baby pop. I think they make these on like keychains and stuff like that too. So as much as I'm like tripping over it, you know, they do have like keychains and stuff like that, but still, I don't own one of those. So this is my very first one. But as you can see, even I would say this is pretty cool because even though it's a small pop, even though it's like a miniature pop, and even though the main focus is on Galactus, this still has a decent amount of detail to it. The fact that the base has the swirl, so it looks like he's actually getting ready to, you know, he's taken off. The board has the lines through the middle, so it's still showcasing the detail on the board. You know what I mean? Of course, he's Silver Surfer, so he's all silver. Look at that, boy, dummy thick. Silver Surfer, man. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, that's a cue. Get you a silver man right there. Talking about cheeks for days. I will say this as well. My hand's so big. They decided to also give him a 4-pack or a 6-pack, if you will, 4-pack. Pectorals are pretty prominent. Sorry for the ugly hands, ladies and gentlemen, but this one's tiny, so you gotta look at them, unfortunately. But as you can see, a small pop, indents on the bottom, everything like that. But yeah, Norn Rad, the Silver Surfer. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching, tuning in for another episode. Again, this one was, impromptu. I just saw this and I was like, hey, I want to get this one day and do a video on it. Finally broke down and did it. So, let me know what you think in the comments. Like, subscribe, follow, please, hit the bell. Let me know what you guys want me to review, anything like that. The ending of the video is always so difficult because I run out of things to say. Oh, I gotta work on that. But again, I want to say thanks for watching, but stay tuned. We will be getting to the Disney Plus series, I promise. Just bear with me. I know I get sidetracked, but the next video is going to be of actually, I think I'm gonna start off with Agatha Harkness. So we're gonna start off with that pop, and then from there we'll work. But you know where to find me. Make sure you click on the next video, and always, always, always stay tuned at Snow's Collection.
We'll be right back.